To be honest, tune in. Is the pod going up? To be honest, sit down, we need to have a talk. Cornelius gon' make a point that the others don't. Them other shows sound the same, come escape the box. Expand your mind, dig into no controversial topics. He ain't scared to keep it real. Tune into this podcast, but don't be in your feelings. We gon' have a laugh, we gon' talk about some pain. Let's talk about the present situation of today. To be honest, is this the podcast? I need to tune in right now.
Hey everybody, what's up? This is your boy Cornelius for another episode of To Be Honest, and I'm super excited to be here with my boy Adrian Davis, AD himself. If y'all don't know AD, y'all need to know. Y'all need to know who this man is. But nevertheless, man, I'm super excited to have you with me. AD, I appreciate you being with me, homie.
Man, thank you, bro. Thank you for having me on, man. I'm honored to be on this. I'm so honored, bro.
That ain't what we're doing today. That ain't what we're doing today. AD, so let me give you some background about the man, the myth, and the legend I'm talking to right now. AD is probably one of the best dressed guys out here. Hey, the guy is a brand ambassador, not just for himself, but the way that he helps other companies and corporations and individuals brand their life and brand their companies and brand their ideas is second to absolutely none. The guy is a branding billboard. Not only that, but I mean, he pastored. He's been in ministry for over 10 years, right?
Well, I started preaching when I was 17, but pastoral ministry, 10 years.
So started preaching at 17 years old, pastoral ministry for 10 years in Alabama. Now he resides in Los Angeles, California, where it doesn't rain at all. The song is correct. It never rains in Southern California.
It never rains in Southern California.
Yeah, man. So I'm super excited to have you here. Hey, man. So we were sitting down, we're having a conversation. We're in the studio, in your studio. And one of the things that I asked you, we kind of talked about pastoring and what that looks like, because you and I, we both pastored for 10 years. After that, we started talking about confidence and people who are in their season of transition. You know, what was that like for you? Did your confidence level increase or decrease after you left pastoring and started your new transition out?
If I'm honest, my confidence decreased quite a bit because I was taking hits to my confidence before I even transitioned out. And
okay, explain that. What does that mean?
So, you know, my transition out, I knew 2 years before I stopped pastoring that I was supposed to transition out of pastoring. I knew it. I was afraid of what was next. I was disobedient in time. But before transitioning out, I had lost my stepfather, my father, and my older brother. And that within itself took a hit on my confidence. I think my stepfather had been on dialysis for 20 plus years, had kidney failure. We kind of, we were preparing. He was sicker than what he told us, but we were kind of preparing. He had got sick. We had kind of prepared. My father, 2 months after my stepfather passed away, my father got in a car wreck. There's no real way to prepare for that. You just get a phone call, and then that was that. But when it came to my brother had lung cancer. We were believing God. We were praying. We were fasting. We were trusting and believing that he was going to be healed. My anniversary his birthday was April 17th. My anniversary was April 23rd. April 25th. He was supposed to be there for my anniversary, and he had been doing better. He got out of the hospital, had been doing better. He called me that morning, said, "Hey, man, I'm not going to be able to make it. Stomach is hurting." We just thought it was a stomach virus. And a few weeks after, he passed away. With that loss, it hit my confidence in such a way because I had been truly believing God that God was going to heal my brother. I felt like I had already went through so much with my father, my stepfather. I was like, surely God is going to, heal my brother the way I want him to. And that took a major, I took a major hit to my confidence when that happened, because for a while I just kind of got to a point where I was like, you know what, how can I encourage you? How can I pray for you? How can I tell you to believe, best outcome and things of that nature, when I don't even believe it at this point. And my confidence had taken such a hit of my belief in God. And I know a lot of people may hear that and say, oh, well, maybe, I was just being a spoiled brat. I wanted God to heal my brother the way I wanted him to heal him, and, so forth and so on. But regardless of people's, idea of depiction of that, at the end of the day, we want what we want.
Yeah.
And when we believe God for what we believe in God for, and when certain things don't happen the way we want them to, it's natural for us to have some type of, reaction to God's decision, and so my confidence had taken a hit then. Then when I knew my time for senior pastoring in Huntsville, Alabama was up, when I transitioned out, it took another hit because you get to a point where when you transition, nothing shows, I think it's more than two, but two important areas that shows people's true colors. When you no longer do what they want you to do, and when people are angry, you learn so much about them and so much even about yourself. And so my confidence took another hit, because when you're saying, I'm no longer going to do what you guys want me to do, you start hearing the echoes of what people have really wanted to say that they did not say because you were sitting in that seat.
Jesus.
So then you hear, all types of whatevers. Oh, well, I wasn't getting that no way. And it was a transition. It was bound to happen. And he wasn't doing this and he wasn't doing that. You hear all the negative. And then you begin to think, oh, okay, so maybe I wasn't as impactful as I thought that I was being, or maybe I wasn't helping the way that I thought that I was. So then your confidence takes that hit of hearing the reality. So mine took the hit of things not, like me believing God for something that doesn't manifest. And understand, I believed God for other things before that didn't happen, but I was able to see God's hand in it in some shape, form, or fashion. I'm still navigating for God's hand in the string of deaths, even now. But so it took that hit. Then it takes the hit of hearing what people wanted to say out of their anger or out of their frustration, because I, wasn't doing what they thought was God. And it's just amazing when you transition from pastoring. It's like people believe, this whole time I've been pastoring for 10 years, you were at the church. If I prophesied to you, you believe I heard God. When I moved the church to a different building, you believe I heard God. When it came to what we were going to build, what we are going to do with the money, what we were going to, people that we were going to bless, you believe I heard God. When it came to your life and your kids' life, you believe I heard God. But when it became to me doing what was best for me, I missed him.
Jesus.
Because all of a sudden, when you do for you, it's like people feel like, oh, they discredit your ability to hear from God. Did you really hear? Did you really hear that? Are you really supposed to be doing that? Is that really God? Type of situation. So it takes a hit, man. All of it plays a factor.
Yeah.
And I think it's almost God's way of seeing if our confidence and and our ability to do something is predicated on people or is it predicated on him. Because a lot of times our confidence is hit because we're hearing probably more from people than we are from God.
Yeah. So, okay. And it's a lot to unpack here. Crap, I almost failed. It's a lot to unpack here. Yeah, so you pastored 10 years. In the span of that, you have you have, these untimely deaths. So you're already dealing with this. Then you have the transition from walking away from, something that you have been doing for 10 years. You put your identity, your time, your energy, your love, your passion into this. And then you're transitioning out of it. Not only that, but you're getting ready to transition, across the country to a whole new city. And basically it's like, let me ask you this question, because I don't want to assume. I know how it was for me. I don't want to assume for you. Do you feel like after everything, do you feel like you were did you feel like you had to start your life over again when you got to LA, and when you, like, after you transition out, did you feel like you were having to start all over again?
For sure. I felt like literally I had to start from scratch all over
Jesus.
again. Like, I think the thing that I probably held on to was just my ability to build again, where they look different or however it looked like. But I definitely starting over, feeling like I'm starting over. And honestly, I don't think that's a feeling. I think that's the reality. The reality was I was starting afresh. I was starting new, and certain aspects of that is exciting. Then other aspects of that is daunting and fearful and terrifying all at the same time, because it's like, wow, the past 10 years of building a church, blood, sweat, and tears, frustration when it was me by myself building it, when nobody else believed in it, when people told me I was crazy, and to build something, and then to remotely say, all right, I believe that this next person or this next season for me looks different than, the previous. And so it is definitely starting over.
I mean, man, I think you explained it beautifully. For me, it was like somebody asked me that same question, and I likened it to when I was in high school. I ran a 5K and didn't know it was a 5K until the day I showed up, because
I was about to say, how you not know it was a 5K?
I signed up for a race and I didn't know it was 5 kilometers. And I don't even know what 5 kilometers. I don't even know what 5,000 kilometers, like, I don't know. Is it 5,000 kilometers? I think it is it ain't 5,000 miles. See, I don't know how many miles it is. I don't know. But I signed up for it anyway. I get out there, bro, and I just start running. And I think it was like the ignorance of it all. It was like, I don't really know what to expect. So I'm just running. So I get out there and I run. I finished the race barely. I crawled over the finish line. I finished the race. But the problem was that I ran it and I almost did it out of ignorance. It was like a youthful ignorance. Like, I just got so much passion, I'm just going to finish it. Yeah. But then I signed up for another one, maybe like a year and a half later.
What made you sign up for another one?
I don't know. But like this time I was going in like, I know what I'm doing. But I actually did worse on the second one, because I felt like I
knew what you were doing.
I knew within me. I felt like I knew that, I felt like I knew, like, the pain in my legs. I knew what I felt from the first one.
Yeah.
And even though I was starting a fresh one, I just felt like, man, I'm starting a new one, but this may be more difficult. So it's like trying to start all over again. When you transition out of something, you're trying to build something else, you're trying to start all over again. People don't realize, like, you have all those different memories from when you did it the first time. You remember the pain, you remember the anguish, you remember the faith. And it's almost like when you do it the first time, you're just doing out of this type of ignorance. Like, I'm gonna just do it. I'm gonna just do it, get it done. But you're just youthful and you just ignorant. You don't know no better. When you're trying to rebuild, I feel like it takes like 10 times the amount of energy that you would have used the first time, because now you probably know too much, you've seen too much, you're thinking too much, and it's just not the same type of youthful energy anymore.
Man, dude, I think that's an amazing analogy, and I think that that's the absolute truth, because it's something, the phrase ignorance is bliss. Like, it's like you don't know the heartbreak that comes from building something or growing something and watch it turn on you.
Brother.
You don't know. You don't know that pain. You don't know the pain of, almost like raising a child, and then when a child gets a certain age, it turns on you and fights you, and you're like, wait a minute, wait a minute, without me, would you even be here? And you don't want to say that from an arrogant standpoint, but it's like, it would be, because if that's God's will and it was God's situation to bring this to fruition, yeah, it would be. But it's like, God chose to do it through you, and so you don't know all those pains.
Even the pain of like raising a child that you send out that don't even tell you thank you. I was talking to a pastor. He pastored one of his churches over. He pastored one of his churches over 16 years. This is just one of them, one of his satellite churches, over 16 years, and he just turned it over to another pastor. Turned it over to another pastor, and I'm talking to him. I was like, so how does it feel? Like, he's still pastoring now at his main church, and I said, how does it feel? And he said it hurts. He said, because I didn't even get, he said, I could at least got a pancake breakfast. He said, they didn't, he said, I didn't get a text message saying thank you. I didn't get a tweet. He said, didn't nobody Twitter me. He older. He said, nobody Twitter me. Didn't nobody come on Facebook and say, thank you for your investment you made, which really just shows, how we put all of our effort and all of our life into, building something that legit people are just like, whatever. Like, even I think about Kevin Samuels, man, right? Love him, hate him, right, wrong, or indifferent. The man has passed, and, it's almost as if for a lot of people that he didn't even live, because it's like, oh, he dead now. It's gone. It's over. He has no more content to share. It's over. And it's like, well, this man, right, wrong, or indifferent, love him or hate him, gave a lot of himself and a lot of content to society. And it's just like, he'll just become just another name. It just kind of, passed away. No thank you, no nothing, just to move on. It's insane, bro.
Well, and I think that is because of the type of things Kevin Samuel said and did. And, I wasn't a fan of him, but I'm not gonna, speak on his death or anything like that, and I'm not gonna act like the man didn't exist, because part of it too, like, I say this. I was talking to someone the other day about it, and I was articulated to the fact that I wasn't a fan of Kevin Samuel, but who made Kevin Samuel big was the very people that he was offending.
Woo!
I didn't know.
That's facts.
I didn't know anything about him. Who told me about Kevin Samuel? A group of ladies.
Yep. I had girls who asked me about him I did a Q&A on Instagram, and they asked me,
and they were like,
oh, what are you talking about?
Yeah, I had no clue who Kevin Samuel was. They was like, well, do you know who Kevin Samuel? And it's just like, okay, if you all are the ones offended, that what made him famous was the people that he was, quote unquote, demeaning.
Yeah.
So y'all was the ones calling in. Y'all was the ones tuning in. Wasn't no dudes calling in asking. Yeah, some guys probably watched it from a form of entertainment, but what gave him the content in the shows was women calling in. That was the most controversial thing. People calling in, asking him questions. It was women. So, but it also goes to a leadership principle that the very people that, that may despise you be the same ones showing up every Sunday. You know what I'm saying? Like,
that's true, because it's almost like the people who hate you the most know the most about your life.
Oh,
I just don't get that. Like, people I don't like, I don't know nothing about them.
I don't care enough.
I can tell you what they're doing with their life.
I don't care enough. I I don't care enough to find out what you're doing and where you at and who you talking to. I don't care.
I don't even care the same way. And so last thing I wanted to mention to you before we hop off of here, about 3 more minutes, but I also asked you another question, AD, when we were sitting down, we was talking, and it was centered around, the aspect of identity, really, knowing who you are and stuff like that, even during the transition. One of the things that you said to me, I thought was so powerful. We was talking about, the young black boy, when he's educated, or he has a sense of education, he dresses nice, he can talk halfway decent. And then the first thing that the old folks would always say to that young black boy is,
"You're gonna be a preacher.
You're gonna be a preacher."
Yeah.
You're gonna be. But you said something. You said, but that's not always true in other cultures, because they look at their kids and say, that's going to be a doctor, or you're going to be an accountant, or you can be a surveyor, or you can be an architect.
You can be the president of the United States of the world. They give him every lawyer, doctor. They give him every professional title, status. But then when it comes to the African American culture, we say preacher, pastor, minister.
Yeah.
And it is actually, whether we recognize it or not, it is actually a form of systemic racism. It is a system that we're saying this is as far as you can probably make it. We put a
become the preacher and be happy at being that.
And then we got to understand within our culture that you be like, yeah, you go be a preacher, you go be a pastor, whatever. And then you saying this to your little boy, your little girl, or whatever the case is. And it's probably more so with boys than it is girls. But you say this to your little boy, but then also your little boy hear you come home and gossip about the very preacher that you just went and listened to. And you're on the phone talking to your friends about everybody in the church, and then that little boy saying, "Wait a minute, you think I'm gonna be that?" So you can, because I know that's what I was thinking. like, wait a minute, you want me to be that? Like, nah, I'm straight. Like,
that's facts.
Yeah, but
when they told me I was told that all the time when I was younger. You're going to be a preacher. Watch what I tell you. You're going to be a preacher. You're going to be a pastor. God is all over you. And I remember thinking when I was younger, I don't want to be a pastor, especially if I got to be one of them. Because I don't want to be walking around in them ugly suits and driving a Cadillac and, eating fried chicken, got a little white stuff all over the side of your mouth. And I don't even like orange juice. Like, I don't, I don't want orange juice when I'm up preaching. I thought, I don't want that. So the very fact that was something that was synonymous between me and you, with a lot of people, a lot of other black guys I know, was like, that was the thing. You're going to be a preacher. And that was the ceiling. You can go no higher than that. And then in our community, it goes to the point to say, well, if you're going to be a preacher, that's the ceiling. That's all you need to be. You can't be a preacher and an entrepreneur. You can't, and then God forbid you be a preacher and you make money, or you have money, or you have nice things, or you go to places, you go anything else. In our community, it's almost like you become a preacher, that's your cap. And all you need to do is just preach the word. You don't need nothing. You don't need to buy nothing. You don't need to go nowhere. You don't need to look nice. You just need to preach the word and give everything you got away. That's it. Bro, terrible cap. Cap.
It's the truth. And my thing is, you probably, you legit can probably see something on a child's life. You can probably see that, there's a call of God on this child's life. But why does it have to be just, like you said, why does it have to be just a pastor, just a preacher? And I think that we're just now wrapping our mind around and wrapping our arms around the idea that you can be more than just, a preacher. You can be a preacher and do other things as well. And now we're just growing into that place of maturity as a culture to say, okay, yeah, preacher, cool, but it's so much more that I can be as well. Absolutely. Like we're just getting to that point.
Man, well, AD, I feel like we have to just continue this conversation.
Yeah,
because there are a lot of people who need it. I know that, you know, we both know of a young man who just now he just left pastoring. And I know some of the other guys, they reach out and they're just like, I'm walking away from this, and not just pastoring, but from other things. And they're making a transition. So I think the wisdom that you have is so important. I mean, I think you need to consider starting a Discord group, or starting a group of, I'm serious, mentoring a lot of these guys who are coming out of this thing, who need some help with the transition. That's all I'm saying.
Bro, but I'm laughing because over the past 2 weeks, every day I've heard that. Every single day for the past 2 weeks. Like, man, hey, you need to do something for these preachers and these pastors that either want to transition out or, you know, want to do other things while they're in that seat. And
because you can help them with the branding. You can, because I mean, they're gonna need that. They're gonna need to know. They don't really know. A lot of them don't have a clue who they are outside of Sunday morning. Yep. They don't have a clue, and they're afraid to let that go because they're afraid of not being known. Yep. I mean, not even being known or seen or heard by the 30 people who come to their congregation. You can help them with the branding and all that kind of stuff. I know I can't do it because I just ain't got the time for it. But I think that with everything else you got going on, I know I've been around you. I've seen the impact you have on people. I've seen the wisdom that you have, and I've seen your expertise when it comes to branding and all those different things. And I think that it'll work well. But anyway, that's just me. I ain't telling you thus saith the Lord, because I ain't no prophet. I'm just a Negro that didn't know God.
Here's the thing, that every Negro that know God got the opportunity for the prophetic to speak out of them. So
okay, well, there you go. Well, what I don't know if that was the prophetic or the pathetic, but whichever way you heard, you got a word.
Yeah, man, I really need to dive into that, man. To be honest, and thoughts of that, and just because it's true, bro. Like, sometimes we just need the voice to give us permission to do more. Yeah. Like, sometimes we just need it. We just need the extra push to be like, okay, I can do more.
And you can, and this is definitely something you can do. But AD, I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you for joining me. Everybody out there, thank you so much for joining me for To Be Honest. Make sure y'all check out AD. AD, Instagram, where are you? What's your Instagram handle? Yeah.
Instagram, Adrian Davis Now. Adrian Davis Now. Instagram, Adrian Davis Now. On my website, adriandavisnow.com. So all of that, just Adrian Davis Now.
Hey, if you're out there and you need branding, you just need some wisdom, make sure that you connect with them. You also have a community number. You have that number handy?
Yeah, I do. So like they can text the community number. Let's see. Hold on. I
don't have mine remembered either. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, it's 1-310-496-3469. Again, that's 1-310-496-3469.
And the cool thing is, y'all, it's free. Just text messaging rates do apply. So make sure y'all connect with AD. Make sure y'all stay connected to him. Hey, everybody out there, you know I love you. Tune back in next Wednesday. Make sure you share this. Make sure you rate, comment, whatever it is. Share this with all your family, all your friends. Share it with your pastor too, because your pastor probably need to hear this. He gonna appreciate hearing this. AD, I appreciate y'all. Hey, God bless you. Introduces. I'm out.
All right.